not wireless top of the line ones, but they're the only thing is
Why
like,
don't you do the wireless ones? I don't understand. Like, I don't understand people
they're too heavy. These
no,
ones are so
I
light.
have the. Oh my God! I bought them a while ago. They are, and mine are like super nice cushion. What do you play?
On mainly first-person shooters, but
Yeah,
like
what?
okay, so I play COD. Obviously, everyone plays COD. Play Halo.
Okay.
Play Fortnite, and then I play.
Oh come on! You
couple
don't
other
play
games.
PUBG?
Oh man.
Oh
Shit's
my
old school.
God!
That shit's old
really?
school.
Oh no, it's not.
I mean, I know PUBG was the OG. They started the whole battle royale scene and everything, but
what? Let me listen.
the
Let me
graphics
listen to this
were always
garbage.
shit.
Yeah, but that's because they were working on it and they're still working on it, which is annoying.
They're still shit. And then
No, how long has it been since you played it? I played it last night, and they've done a lot of stuff.
probably a year and a half since I played PUBG.
Okay.
But I did start on PUBG. Like when that whole PUBG Fortnite craze was going, that's
Dude.
kind of when I started back into video games. Because, everyone was in it when they were little, like 90s kids and stuff.
Oh, of
and
course.
like Nintendo 64. I had a PS.
Dude, Mario
PlayStation.
64? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Donkey Kong, Mortal Kombat. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
all the
man.
greats.
Mortal Kombat, that's my game.
That's the shit.
That's my game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Shout out to who did I
Ed
always
Boon.
play?
Do
No.
you even know who that is? Ed Boon?
No. Who's Ed
Dude,
Boon?
he's the maker of Mortal
Oh,
Kombat.
I
God, you're
wouldn't
not
know
a
that.
fan.
I wouldn't know that.
Get out of my shop, dude.
No, I can't remember the character I used to always play with.
Dude, Scorpion,
It was the
Sub-Zero,
shirt. It was the
Reptile,
shirtless guy.
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang. No, it wasn't Liu Kang. He was the Cyclops guy.
Oh, you took Kano.
Kano. I always played with Kano. He
Dude,
was my
hey,
guy.
this guy's not a fan.
No,
to
no,
all
no,
the Mortal Kombat people out there, you know who the fan is. Just naming off people.
I know.
Goro, Shang Tsung.
It's
oh,
a shame.
God.
It's a shame. But whatever. So, anyways, what's going on, man? How you doing?
No, nothing. How you doing? Dude, don't be messing with my...
Dude, it's cold as shit.
Oh, my God. Dude,
And I had... Did you... Oh, I didn't tell you what happened to me
I
this
walked
morning.
out of the office, and when it goes straight through your clothes, dude.
No, guess what happened to me this morning?
What?
Okay, get in my truck, start it, starts just fine. And then I kind of get Christmas tree lights on the dash. I'm like, what the hell's going on? It says, truck's not charging. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. I just took this truck to like 10 degrees and like, super cold weathers. It can't even handle 25. So yeah, the alternator went out this morning. So I had to text my boss, I went to O'Reilly's. They didn't have, or they said they had one. And then the guy searched for 30 minutes while I'm sitting there like, hey man, come on.
Didn't have it.
Didn't have it. So then I went to, I was fine with that because there is actually a pretty cool rebuild shop up the road from me. So I went and had it rebuilt, and got a little bit higher output out of it. They can put a different stator in it with some more amps and stuff. So that was, but still, I was just like that old man angry this morning, just like, fuck, I gotta do this shit.
Yeah, freezing,
and it's cold as
freezing
fuck.
cold as shit. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
dude,
it's
it was
terrible.
ridiculous. And that's like last night I came and dropped the R1 off because I was, my wife was like, hey, it's gonna be cold.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got up this morning, I was like, no, I'm taking the truck.
No, and
put the heat on and drive to work.
Also, I just want to clarify this at the beginning to all the viewers out there. These guys are legit moto riders. I mean, they'll ride when it's 40 degrees, 50 degrees.
All right.
I'm
like
a bitch. I'm a bitch.
I would have rode yesterday, but I was like, man, that is like, today. And I was like, nah, that's like, the problem is like, I put my hoodie on and then I have this over it. And then I put a shirt here to protect my chest and then I put it on. When you walk outside and it goes through all of that, then I'm like, okay, it's not worth it.
I'm like 55 degrees and below. I ain't about it.
I can go a little below than that.
No, not me. That's crazy. But yeah, so it's been one of those weird days, where like still had a lot of shit to do, but had to try and do this stuff on the side, and and I ended up working from home, and it was weird, and then the boss is trying to give me shit for it, like, hey man, I didn't wake up and choose for this shit to happen, like, come on man,
dude, I know,
I know. They always try to like guilt you in some shit like they're your father.
Yeah.
They're always trying to guilt you into some bullshit.
Oh man, the regular day job.
Yep.
God, it's terrible. Oh my God, it's so terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. So what how many bikes have you ridden?
Okay.
Is this a long list?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because I've luckily, went through that kind of phase where I sought out guys that had bikes and stuff, and I just knew guys that had bikes. So I've ridden everything from kind of, you know, Harleys to I started out in like the trail bike scene, actually.
I was gonna say,
so,
did you start out in the Harley world?
No.
Because you are not welcome here. Alienate all the Harley riders. Just kidding.
I've been on a Harley one time, and I was like, this ain't for me, you know?
I mean, dude, Harleys are, like, if you get the right one that's for you, like, I don't mind, like, a Sportster or something like that.
Yeah.
That's not bad, but,
That's
you know,
true.
all in, I'm sport bike.
Well, that and, like, the money.
Oh, the money.
Dude,
yeah.
I mean, seriously, for a V-twin bike that makes like 80 horsepower, you want like, you know, 35 grand for some of these bikes. Like, get out of here, dog. This is craziness.
Yeah.
But no, so I started in the trail bike scene, in the enduro scene. So I grew up in Arkansas.
So dirt.
Yeah, dirt, big time. But the cool thing is, it's like, so in Arkansas, I grew up out in the country, you know, but we had the Energy property. Energy is a utilities company.
Yeah.
And so they bought all, like 40,000 acres. And they used it for logging, and then they would do different plots. It's like investment property and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, turns out there was a hunting club that leased it all. And the hunting club is like a bunch of game wardens. So we already know that this is some like serious political thing, and, you know, like this is all sacred property and all this stuff. Well, we ended up getting the blessing from the owner to ride on it. And it started because my mom had horses and stuff. So she went and pulled the whole horse card and was like, oh, can I ride on it and all this stuff? And they were like, yeah. And then, you know, they kind of gave the whole family a pass to ride on it. Well,
That's awesome.
Well, so I had 40,000 acres as a kid of like rock quarries, forests, pine groves, everything in between, streams, rivers, lakes, everything. And I took it for granted. But I didn't take it for granted because I rode every day. Like after school, that was my thing.
Yeah.
Get home, go kickstart the Honda, get right on out
Just
there.
so you know, I wish I'd started on dirt, because dirt makes you, just so you guys know, dirt makes you a much, much better rider.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, you know, you learn how to slide the bike and stuff like that. I'm not into jumps. Like, I don't want to go motocross and jump.
I
and
don't
stuff
like the jump.
Yeah, I have no interest in that, but I do have interest in like flat track and sliding the bike and learning how to brake and turning the bike with the rear.
Where is that even popular, to be honest? Because I've seen it. You know, I know that there's sanctioned events and stuff, but where's like the regional area that started up in? Because it does look fun. I mean, it's like it's 100% drifting, basically.
Exactly. And then, like, just imagine not using the front brake, but you turning the bike with the rear and stuff like that. Like, I have to get. I don't know what it is.
We should go and try and do that. Just to try it one
test
time.
it out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying it one time.
You want to do this shit?
I have been asking a couple of my buddies where an oval is, because I just want to go there for hours and just see how fast and how much lean and.
Well, I know some things about the bike. So I know that I think they're only one gear. So they like strip out the trannies for lightweight and stuff, and I think it's like they leave like third gear or something.
Oh, that makes. I didn't even think about that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, they're only single gear, and then I think they have restrictions on the tire.
Well, what about starting? What about if they like?
They just have a clutch.
No, but what I'm saying is, if they have one gear, what about takeoff? Like, you need a low.
It's just like dirt track cars. You have like someone kind of push you off, and you kind of lug the bike, or like dirt track cars normally only have one or two gears, and so you got a four-wheeler that like pushes you off, and then you catch the gear and go, but you can't stop, because if you stop, then somebody will have to come and.
Oh no, yeah.
know.
So you're thinking different, because I know that, you know, when you have a race and you see, because I've seen a flat track race, like they start at the start.
Okay, yeah.
So
maybe they just dump the clutch and go.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to look into that one.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm interested like
Audience,
crazy.
I have no idea about that sport.
No, but that's it.
I don't
and
know
that's the thing. There's
about
a couple guys that do it, so that's why I'm interested. And I want to get. I don't know what they use. If they use, I think they use 450s, which is a monster. I think
they use 450s.
I think. Listen, I'm talking out of my butt, because I want to get a 125, just a TTR 125, and just go see how much I can slide.
That's
around.
what I thought they were. 125s.
I mean, maybe if you're in like the B class, I guess, or the novice class, which
yeah.
that's what I'm going to be in. So
Novice right here,
yeah,
dog.
no, me and you both. But that would be awesome, man. What else?
That's
so
interesting.
Use trails, dude. That's
okay.
awesome.
So yeah. So basically, let's get into that. So, you know, kind of always been into engines and stuff. Grew up just, you know, my dad had like a go-kart that he won or something. And, you know, I just found myself taking it apart and putting it back together and trying to make it go faster, you know, and stuff like that. And then that grew into, check this out. I had, it was like a family friend. I don't know where he came up with this bike. I don't know if it was stolen, what was up with this thing, but it was called a Yambo. It was a Chinese off-brand Enduro 250 called a Yambo, and it wouldn't even turn over. Something was wrong with it, and so they gave it to us, okay? They gave it to us, and my dad was like, hey, if you get this thing working, then I'll teach you how to ride it, you know? My dad knows how to ride a motorcycle, has ridden a couple times and stuff, and knew the concept of the clutch and everything. So, so I tear this Yambo apart, and, you know, ended up getting it running, but man, is it rough. Like thinking back on it now, dude, the valve lash had to have been like half an inch. I mean, it tapped like, dude, it backfired, spit. Like I got it to run, but it ran like a two-legged dog. I mean, it was terrible. So, but anyways, it had enough horsepower to give you that sensation of like when you twist that throttle for the first time, and you're like, you experience that power to weight ratio, you know, one time. That motorcycle power to weight ratio is unlike anything that you'll get with like a car. Like you can get cars nowadays that can give you that kind of, you know, power to weight ratio, but when I was a kid, no way. And, you know, you just barely flick the throttle and she's ready to go.
Yeah, she's done. Yep.
So anyways, so we got that bike running. I can still remember the night my dad taught. It was pitch black outside. My dad was teaching me how to ride, you know, drive with the clutch and stuff. I picked it up in about 100 yards, you know, natural at it. Yeah. And then from there, he saw how good I was with it. You know, I had to like feather the clutch and run next to it and jump on the bike because I was still so short. I was 10 years old. You know, this is a 250.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, anyways.
Yeah, you were like a woman that couldn't touch the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah.
And that's like a metaphor for other things too, you know? So anyway, so I got that going, and Dad was like, we probably need to get you another bike or get you one that's your size, you know?
Yeah.
So he had a friend that was into enduro, and it was an older guy, because in kind of the Ozarks of Arkansas, on the west side of Arkansas, there is a lot of hare scrambles and enduros, and they are dying out rapidly, which is kind of sad because I've participated in a couple of them, and they were so much fun, and the camaraderie is amazing. Those like rally enduro race, they're all just kind of like middle-aged hobbyists, you know? Yeah. So no one's out to like kill you, no one's out to like, you know, crazy competitive, like
it's just it's from start to finish. That's it.
Yes, exactly. But I've always wanted to go to like Britain or Germany or the UK where that stuff is competitive, and those guys, you know, they're basically like trials bike riders that go and race enduro, and they have crazy obstacles and courses. We never had anything like that. Everything was all just natural obstacles and stuff. But so he got me 100, that little 100 that I still have. It's a Honda 100R, XR 100R. You know, it's the big wheeled one, so it fit me like perfect size for being about 10 years old. Yeah. And it's super easy to work on, so reliable. And man, I have broken every part on that motorcycle. I've bent like 4 wheels. I've gone through swing arms in the back. Dude, I've bent the forks in the front. I've bent the handlebar. I mean, I've flipped and rolled and catapulted, and that bike has been everywhere on the west side of Arkansas. Dude, that thing was
shout out Arkansas.
Dude, no, shout out to Honda. I mean, Honda knows how to make a bike.
Oh yeah, dude, those things are like bulletproof, man. That CRF50 back there that you were checking out, bulletproof.
But they're slow.
That's all fine. That's fine. As long as they're bulletproof.
If you showed up to motocross races and your bike was red, we all knew you were losing. I haven't seen many Honda guys win at the local races and stuff like that, but I rode a Suzuki in motocross.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Suzuki and Yamaha. And then Honda. I mean,
never. I've never owned a Yamaha. Never.
I mean, here.
Yeah. Not really a Yamaha guy. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, man?
I've driven the TT 125s, and I've driven the TT 200s, and I just thought that they were worthless for having that low a power. Like, you know, the TT200 is like a great beginner bike, like for your wife, if you're trying to teach them how to use a clutch, and like, you know, you have like a nice vacation home on like, you know, in North Carolina, and you want to ride on the beach where no one gets hurt. Yeah. TT200 is perfect. Everywhere else in the world, TT200s are terrible. I mean, they're just gutless. They're just, if you're a true blue, you know, motorhead, a TT200 will never satisfy you. Never on this planet.
Are you talking about 250?
No. The 200, it's the trail bike of the Yamaha.
Oh, gotcha.
It's those, the air-cooled trail bikes that are just, they're just terrible.
I see. I was wondering what you were talking about. I was like, TT200, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to have to look up that Yobo or whatever the hell you're talking
Yombo,
about.
I don't know if it's a thing. Like, yeah, it's YUMBO. Yumbo. Yeah.
God, that's weird, man. I never heard of that.
Sounded like a sewing machine.
Yeah.
It really did. It was crazy. But anyways, all right.
Yeah. You remember what's your worst crash?
Okay. Worst crash was Sherwood, Arkansas. Okay. There's a Camelback. Okay. It's that one that I just was talking about. It's like 100. The track is no longer up and running, but back then it used to be like the Arkansas qualifier for Loretta Lynn, which is like the regional basically competition for motocross.
Yeah.
And so this track was, you know, the qualifying track, and I was practicing there, and it had this triple that they called a Camelback, where like you have a small jump, you know, but steep, big kind of hump in the middle, and then a small landing jump on the other side.
Yeah. And
the problem is you would normally hit it pinned fourth, wide open. I mean, in fourth gear on a 250 is you're going quick. And the problem is I wasn't smart enough to know about, you know, I was so young. I was like 16 or whatever. And I wasn't thinking about like wind and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that day I was out practicing, and I had like a 15-mile-an-hour headwind, okay? Just so happened it was the first time that I had, like, you know, I'd gone around the track a couple times, practiced laps, but it was the first time I was going to hit that jump. And that jump always made everyone nervous. It was a yard sale of a jump. And so I go up, and my buddy Edwin was on a KTM, and he was like, yeah, man, I dipped into fifth, cleared it just fine, no problem. I was like, all right, my bike's a little faster than
He didn't say anything about the wind?
No, he didn't say nothing about the wind. he was like,
dude, got it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
You're good. Send it. Just make sure it's floored, you know, you'll be fine. And so was going up for the jump, and it was just one of those where as soon as I left, I was like, this is gonna hurt. And dude, I came down, cased the jump on the third little one, hit it right in the center, like frame on the ground, basically a bike. Yeah, and I went into the handlebars. Yeah, no, and
I've seen it many times.
I had a chest protector on, didn't have a neck brace because those weren't really a thing.
Yeah.
But had a chest protector and a helmet, of course. Yeah. But I broke 4 ribs. I got 20-something stitches here. I got 4 in my upper lip. I have a fake tooth in the front now.
You one of those.
I got all sorts of messed up, man. It's like not. Motocross is not kind to people.
No, that's I mean, that's one of the reasons. Like, obviously, I'm older now, but that's one of the reasons I was never interested in that. I just want to learn how to move the motorcycle around. I don't want to land wrong and then I'm out for like the entire season repairing my knee or leg or back or arm or.
So what you just said is so important. Okay, yeah. So motocross riders, good ones, they know how to turn, you know, vertical movement into horizontal movement. Man, you got to slide, you got to roll, you got to use the bike's weight to throw it away from you so that you can land on softer spots. Because, like, you know, they say dirt, but on the landing pad of some of these races that I've done, that shit is harder than concrete.
No, it's concrete. No, I know, and that's the reason why is I don't want to have to deal with that. All I want to do is learn how to slide that thing around, like use the rear to turn the bike, and then that just helps you. That helps you with everything. Yes. If you can have that feel and figure out that feeling of what it feels like, and because, you know, like if you go to a track day and you're riding with it. Those guys have no idea what the hell's going on. They don't know how to control. They don't even really know. It's sad, but they don't really know how to ride because they don't know the motorcycle.
Correct.
If you can get that feeling to where you're comfortable with the bike moving and then figure out how to turn the bike, you will be such a faster rider. Like your lap times will drop like dramatically.
Yes, that's what motocross is all about. What the front tire's doing. You don't worry about the back.
No,
tire.
That's it.
You steer the front, and then the back will follow.
That's it.
But it's about weight distribution, throttle control, and mastering that front tire, and then you can have it. And then jumping's a whole nother thing.
Oh no, I'm not even worried. You don't even need to get into it. I'm not even worried. I don't want to jump.
Whatever you do, even if you're gonna hit, a small jump behind your grandpa's house on his farm, don't de-accelerate before you hit the jump. Always hit the jump on throttle. Always hit the jump on throttle.
That's what I've heard. And you know what sucks is people do let off because it's
scary.
It's a scary. But meanwhile, you just need to be like.
The more you power through, only the better things will happen.
Yeah.
But if you dip that throttle or even stay a little too neutral, that front tire goes down, man, and it's just a snowball effect.
No, thanks. I don't want that. I've got no time for it.
No, none at all. And I think even now, like, I think I would do the jumps, but I would need to get a better bike, and I would want to get one. Motocross, it's hell on your bike, man. Like, trail riding, you can keep a bike together pretty good. They just get muddy and dirty and that kind of stuff. But as far as maintenance, as long as you keep up on the oil and keep up on the wheel bearings, you tend to have bigger problems with wheel bearings on the trails.
Oh,
and stuff.
I bet.
But motocross, dude, the shocks and the seals. And oh my gosh, man!
It's a nightmare of service.
Oh, you're always rebuilding suspension, and it's expensive. You gotta have some money for sure.
Dude, that makes sense.
And
get you some good sponsors.
Dude, you're ruthless on tires, and so you get those soft compound tires, and even on those tracks, most tracks are kind of hard and beaten down. Dude, you're just ruthless on them. You're going through tires.
What
like
tire did you run?
I always ran a Michelin.
Huh.
Yeah. Yep, always ran it. Michelin had a nice, it was a well-balanced tire where it was pretty knobby for the soft, muddy stuff, but it didn't float as bad on the harder stuff.
Yeah.
So and like entries to jumps, like I don't like it when your bike's sketchy on the takeoff. I like to kind of know where, have a line and a plan and preload the bike and really like have my shit under control. Because if you leave and you don't know what's going on, the jumps throw you in crazy situations, Dude, and it's just,
I'm glad. I'm definitely not into the jumps. I just want to slide around, and I think that's what you need. That's why, like, when you see like somebody that's really good at flat tracking, if they switch over to road racing, that it just like they're immediately fast, and I'm like, God damn you piece of garbage.
Yeah, but
we've had a couple of those guys in my lifetime.
But what you say about that whole like knowing the bike and that kind of harmony between you and the bike, dude. First off, that takes just seat time, and it takes a lot of time.
A lot of time, yeah.
But there's also nothing better than being in that moment. I mean, that's what you do. That's what you ride the bikes for. Is when you're kind of pushing it on the edge, but you still feel comfortable.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that. I mean,
well, I can tell you guys. So this is one thing that is going to stick with me until I ride another motorcycle that feels the same way. So it was one of the first times I've ever won an expert race. And it happened to be on an R3. I was rolling on that thing, and I mean, it was in the 500 class, and I was on a 300, and I was rolling on that thing. I think I think that day I got the lap record on the 300, and then like the next race that was there, somebody beat it. I think I ran 20. This was like 4 years ago. I think I ran a 26 around Crescent on the R3, or 24.
That's pretty wild. But didn't they just redo the track?
They did, yeah.
So
now people are doing like 19.
Yeah, I've heard it's gotten a lot faster.
Oh God, man, they are so good. But
really,
what I remember from that race is I could do nothing wrong.
Oh,
and what I mean is wherever I needed the bike to go, it went there. And then what happened is now that feeling is locked in my head. So when I ride another bike, like the R6 or the R1 and stuff, I'm searching. I'm searching for how to make it feel like that, because I'm not even kidding. Like, I didn't think I could go so fast in a car. And, you know, we're talking about a 300 and everybody would be like, oh, dude, it's a 300. No. Listen, you don't understand.
They're pretty spunky.
When it is balling and you're balling, like, I could do nothing wrong. I could just get on and that thing would go. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, we're racing against 500. So it's not like you can just walk away from a 500. And then coming up and finishing that thing in first, and I was like, golly, that is what a motorcycle is supposed to feel like. And I was like, okay, now I know. Mm-hmm. Now I search for and so, the problem is it never felt like that again. Yeah, never. Yeah. So I don't know if it was, you know, if you know, like, I made sweet love to my wife that night and everything turned out great.
No. I have a story just like that. Okay, so it was the Arkansas State Championship, or the champion race in Arkansas, in Pine Bluff. Okay. And I entered in the 250 class and the 450 class, okay? And I was riding a 250 four-stroke Suzuki. And I had done some work to it and stuff like that. You know, we'll get into this later, but I'm kind of an engine builder, so, you know, I skirt the lines a little bit on what's legal and what's not and what's true. But the problem was I was always a big guy. I was always tall. Yeah. Everyone else was 5'6" to 5'9".
The shorter guys,
and I'm 6 foot, 6'1". I weigh so much more than everyone, so I had to have an advantage. So I always had to have the fastest bike, you know, to be able to win. But let's get back onto this topic. So the 250 race, man, it screwed me up, man. There were so many guys in it. I got real in my head. It was like one of the first races of the day, you know. And I felt like crap, man. I didn't place I got like, you know, halfway through the pack, couldn't break away, and just, it stunk. And I moved on to a couple more heats, but, you know, I never really did that good. Well, then I went and raced the 450 class, and there was about half as many people there, half as many riders. And you could get some space between you. And I was just like so mad at myself from the before race that I was like, okay, you've got to relax. You've got to find your Zen moment, and you've got to get it in this 450 class. So I'm with you, man. I couldn't do anything wrong. There was on the last turn right before the finish, there was this deep rut, and there was a little pebble right at the apex. And I was so hyper-focused, that was my aim spot for when I hit the rut and leaned over. I could get that pebble right next to my handlebars, okay? And on the last lap, I was like, I'm going to kick that pebble and see if I can kick it over the finish line. I came right in, stuck my foot out, and just knocked that thing right over the finish line, followed it through the finish line. I got third in the 450 class on a 250 and got a big old trophy for it and everything. And I was like, well, how is this even a thing? But it's like, those people can't use that much of the bike. Even though they're novices or intermediates or experts, they can't use all of that 450.
Now we're going into the rabbit hole.
Oh,
I know. You're delving into like, Jesus.
Yeah.
There are so many people that own 1000s or race 1000s let's just even go with 600s.
Let's go with 600s.
That have no business.
No business
being,
they only use 2 cylinders.
This is like bike. Another 7 hour.
That's so true. Yeah. But there is something of when you can use a bike to its full potential and you want more. Yes. You're like, give me more, you little bitch, you know? It's just like, you get into it, man.
Yeah, like you want more power. You're like, okay, you know, what they do is they put it to a certain amount and you know you have more, and then you eventually you outgrow that, and then you're like, all right, I need just that little bit more, and then it starts you a little bit more, and then eventually you're full power, and then nobody else can ride that thing because you're balling out of your mind.
That's exactly right.
Dude, it is so crazy, man.
That is so funny. You heard about my Yambo experience, my Chinese experience.
Dude, I'm gonna look that up.
So tell me about your first bike.
Hold on. We got a customer. Hold on. Sorry, we're back. Got to take care of customers during the day. Mm-hmm. Damn customers.
No. You hush your mouth. Daddy's got to make money.
That's right.
I mean, give me a break, dog. We'll stop for a customer. For sure.
We'll stop for you. You're damn right we will.
Yeah, for all 5 people that are going to see this. Yeah. We'll stop for a customer.
Yeah. You're damn right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
F3 time.
First bike,
So first off, that sounds like a fighter pilot. I mean, a fighter jet. An F3.
Oh, dude. It was, I mean, it was the
A whopping 30 horsepower?
Smoking Joe's edition. I think it was 98 horsepower.
You're lying.
I think so.
You are lying.
There
There is no way that bike is 98 horsepower.
I don't remember. It was a 600cc.
It doesn't matter.
You know what?
What year was it?
Let me just, hold on. Let me just look it up real quick.
A 98.
It was a 1998.
Dude, my Kawasaki ZZR with the big jet kit, the
CBR,
timing advancer, the K&N filter,
F3
the Muzzy titanium exhaust
specs.
is only like it dynoed at only like 110 horsepower. I think it was 108 horsepower. So there's no way,
Dude, I'm about to
that
prove
your
you
old
wrong
ass
in
bike.
about 5 seconds, dude. It better be something.
Also, shout out.
96, you worthless. God, get out of my show. Dude, this is why I work on bikes and you don't. Get out of here.
Oh, my gosh.
I told you. I remember it was like 98 horsepower. And we were trying to get it with, with the stage 3 jet kit.
Yeah.
We were trying to get it to 100 horsepower.
Yeah, yeah. Those were like the first like real big tuner bikes too, kind of.
Dude,
Those Hondas.
This was when Honda was like, dude,
the
everybody.
goat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everybody.
And they had all sorts of different fairing kits, and people went kind of wild with them. And then the F4s were a big step up. The F4s were nice.
Yeah. And then F4i, they changed it to fuel injection.
Yeah,
Man.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember, like, there's a couple things that I remember, from back in the day where, like, they had the F4 and then, the F4i came out. I was like, you know what? They're never going to be able to design a bike that looks better than the F4i. And then sure enough, they came out with the 600RR, and I was like, what the hell is that? I want it. And I was like, damn.
That bitch is sexy.
I know, and I just stopped saying things like that because I said it with the Yamaha as well. I was like, the Yamaha's never going to beat the R6.
I remember the first one that I saw, it was a guy that, it was a cherry red one, and he had black wheels on it. And that thing was sexy. And he had some, stickers and some stuff on it. But it was tasteful. It was minimalist and stuff. I remember I was like, and then I heard him take off and sometimes you don't always want bikes screaming through the neighborhood, but I was a little kid that wanted some bikes screaming through the neighborhood. He saw me first off, encourage little kids into getting into bikes.
Oh,
but
100%.
He saw me. I was glued to that window, in the side window, looking at him, and he looked over and saw me. And so he ripped on it for about 2-3 years. It was awesome.
It's weird the things you remember, I'll tell you. So my first ever experience on a bike was on I think it was on a 50cc, like one of the older ones.
Really?
And they were teaching me how to ride, and I rode straight into a fence.
Wait, is it the ones that had the 3-spoke wheels? The big, thick.
That's exactly what it
God.
was. Yeah.
I grew up riding one of those.
That's exactly, dude.
Everyone did.
Dude, I rode it straight into the fence. So my first time ever.
Dude, those bikes, remember they had training wheels offered for those? We
Yes.
never had the training wheels, but my dad wouldn't pay
offered.
for that shit.
No.
It was offered.
Listen, you learn how to ride that bike and you get on there and go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, dude. And that's exactly what it was.
They smoked like freight trains too.
Yes,
you could just see wherever I was by just the pile of smoke going up in there.
That's so funny that you say that, because that like brings it back.
It brings it all back.
Oh my God, that's amazing. It was exactly that motorcycle.
That's so awesome.
I think it was Yamaha. It was not a Honda.
It was blue and white, and it was like the 90s Cup kind of look. It was like blue and white, and had some like turquoise or yellow or some shit in it.
I was just about to say,
dude, I don't. But it was either Suzuki or a Yamaha. It was one of the two.
I think ours was a Yamaha. Well, so I know it was a Yamaha because my mom's friend's dad. I guess I should say my mom's
really going back in the.
Oh man, dude, is back in the day. He was a professional racer, and that was the bike. I went over to his house. Yeah, that was his little pit bike that he rode around.
So it was a Yamaha, and the weirdest thing was.
Well, he raced for Yamaha, so you couldn't ride anything else. So it was definitely a Yamaha. Yeah.
But you know what I always thought was the weirdest thing about that bike?
Jimmy, if you're watching this, I'm talking about you.
Shout out to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Was why did the exhaust come down like a chopper? Like right next to where you would burn your ankle on it.
All I remember is the rims. I don't remember how the exhaust is.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a little younger than you, so that's all right. Memory's a little better.
Yeah, you had a little. When did you ride that?
That was. We had that's kind of before the Yambo.
Yeah.
We had a neighbor or one of my mom's friends that they had a big farm out in Perryville, Arkansas. And it was just like the weird, Like they normally just had ATVs and
The
side
weird
by
neighbor.
sides.
Oh, and they had that.
But then they
happened
to have that little tiny Yamaha that I found like dusted off in the corner, and I was like, 8 years old or whatever. And no gears or nothing. You just twist the throttle to go.
Yep.
And they were like, "Oh, Carter, why don't you get on that and see if you can ride it?" And dude, my mom couldn't get me off that thing. I would ride it until it was pitch black, and she was tired of listening to it. And I think that was probably the day that I fell in love with motorcycles.
Motorcycles are the best.
Yeah, but
I don't know what to tell you guys.
That thing was more of just like a bike with a little bit of a motor, but like the Yambo was like the first time I felt power.
Oh yeah,
that's the big difference.
Like it pushes
between
you back.
Yeah, like you're like, oh, I have to hold on now.
Yeah.
Like I don't just have to squeeze with my legs.
It's not that little brr, and then it's like
this was like real like clutch power, and that kind of stuff. But anyway, so your F3, what did you graduate into after that?
Well, I got an F4i.
Oh my god!
So F3 straight to F4i.
Well,
what's funny is this is what the funny thing was we installed the jet kit, and that night I crashed the bike.
Oh
yeah, like we were. Oh man. Anyway, we put on some Avon tires, and this was back in the day where we did some crazy stuff.
Yeah. How did you?
Idiots.
Did you just lay it over and then it kind of like hit a curb and destroyed itself, or what happened?
No, actually, it wasn't that bad. I've got pictures of it. All it was I was coming to like a. Where you go the median and then you go in a little bit and then you make the turn over the 2 lanes, like you turn left over. That was all it was. We were just under heavy braking, and I think there was some gravel there, and that's what happened. Front tire hit some gravel, went down.
Dang.
So definitely and the funny thing was I was definitely showing off because there was this dude in the car with his girl, and he's like, "Oh yeah, hit it." Dude. And then I hit it over the hill, and I came down to brake to make my turn. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember what the hell happened because I felt fine. And I was braking, so that's why I thought that there was something there. Because literally, I went down, I picked it up, rode it home. I was like, "Damn it, what the hell happened?"
No, you didn't know what happened because you were too busy worrying about that girl in the passenger seat.
Something was going on.
Because let me tell you something. About 80% of the times that I fuck up, it's because I'm trying to show off.
Oh man,
for sure.
I mean, I think mine's higher than that.
Oh
but
yeah,
sure.
You try and show off. It's karma's a bitch.
Yeah.
It's basically gonna make you wreck, or it's gonna make you like,
worst.
Or it's gonna make your bike blow up. I've had a motor. I was bragging about how fast it was, and the bitch literally blew up like 10 minutes after that. Now everyone's like,
"This is the greatest motor in the world.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat you."
Yeah.
And then boom.
Yeah. But you got to break stuff to learn.
No,
So,
that's it.
But
that's the problem is it takes money because you got to break
so
stuff,
much
take money,
money, so
repair
much
it, break stuff, take money.
So
It's a never-ending cycle. So if you guys are thinking you want to learn, just make sure you break some stuff and pay some money.
Yeah. Or I mean, I hate to say it, but there's unless you get like a mentor who guides you.
That's it.
Which I didn't have a mentor.
Neither did
I. So you just got to break stuff. But
and that's the thing that sucks is like if you I know a couple guys that had really, and I mean really good mentors. And to see the work that they now do, I'm like, my God, if I had that person, that was like in my life.
So I had that for my job and what I do for a living. But I didn't have that for motorcycles at all. And I did have a mentor for cars too. His name was Gordon Gondek. And he got me in. He helped me restore a GTO with him, a 1970s GTO, and it was and he was the kind of one that would like he was like the grandpa that kind of trusted me with some of the beginning shop tools, like a drill press and like
the minimal stuff.
Minimal stuff for sure, like cutting with an angle grinder and don't shower your friend with sparks and shit that.
Tell you the basic rules of the shop.
Don't put it wheel side down.
I know everybody knows somebody like that. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Put stuff back where you found it, stuff like that.
Dude,
I know.
Dude, don't even get me started on that one.
I spend like 30 minutes walking around trying to find my damn tool. Oh, it's so annoying.
Dude, I have had 50-year-old men dog cuss the shit out of me for not putting tools away. My whole life. My whole life is just 50-year-old men screaming at me, I feel like sometimes. That's how I learn. And so it's just like, fuck.
You need those old people to be like, hey, get this back in there.
Yeah, exactly. Or like,
my
my God. It's funny.
No, that's the best thing ever, man.
Yeah. So I guess I should talk about myself because I haven't even introduced myself.
No,
really.
that's true.
We kind of just been bullshitting.
We just went straight into it.
Yeah, this is kind of how we are. But anyway, so I'm Carter Andrews, from Arkansas and all that stuff. just grew up with that love of taking stuff apart and motors and all that stuff. And then that graduated into, you know, people giving me stuff that was blown up and me fixing it, you know? And so that, you know, I kind of went through that stage. And then, you know, the motorcycles, that was really the key thing, was, drove all of that, you know, that need for speed and that, you know, the craziest thing is like, when the first time you do an improvement and it actually fucking works.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
dude.
you actually do a jet kit, or you actually tune a carb, or you actually do something, and you're like, holy shit, I can do something with these hands. You know, you're like,
it's
this
when
is
you realize,
wild.
like, that's the thing that I always think of. Like I always think, if somebody else can do it, why can't I do it? You just have to learn.
Not many people think like that, though.
Oh, dude, you have to.
Yeah.
Like there are, I mean, there's terrible people, and there are people that try to bring you down and all that.
Oh,
You've got to just get out of there, and you've got to try stuff, and then, you know, you have to break stuff to make it. And that's, I've always done that through all the processes that we've done, like the R6s that we build and stuff like that. I've always done it to our own bikes, and then if it works, then you transfer to like a customer's bike, because then you know, okay, thank God it works.
Yeah, you got to vet it out first.
No, you have to. I've never done where you just put it in the bike and
no. But there is something kind of fun about that new motor tingles when you put something together and you're like, shit, is this the next winner, or is this the next, you know, grenade? Yeah. And you get on it and you're like, oh yeah, man, this is feeling great. This is feeling awesome. Oh my God, the power. And then boom. Or sometimes it's not a noise at all. Sometimes it's just a seize.
It just stops. Yeah.
Oh, those are the worst. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so basically, you know, motorcycles were great. But then I wanted more, you know, I wanted cars, I wanted that kind of stuff, and I wanted more power, but, you know, cause little single cylinder engines only did it, you know, only did so much for me. So, you know, started getting in with people in cars and buddies that had fast stuff, and, you know, people like Gordon with the GTO and stuff like that. And then pretty soon, you know, I'd rebuilt Ford engines, I'd rebuilt 350s, and I've rebuilt, you know, LS motors, and then like, you know, I had a neighbor that owned Donnie's foreign car in Little Rock, and he had a rotary, and so then, like, you know, I was like, wow, you know, it was really before I kind of that then sparked the whole like Fast and the Furious phase. Was he had a 94 RX-7 cherry red, big single turbo on it, BBS wheels. I mean, just JDM to the T, like a piggyback on it, where when you turn the key on, it's like, you know, it's always some, you know, bullshit song that it sings and stuff.
Awesome.
And then, anyways, but the thing ripped. I mean, it ripped. And then that translated into, I had another buddy that I kind of, you know, found another buddy with a rotary, and then, you know, he blew up his apex seals in it. And so then I, like, you know, oh, well, hey, let's see how it works. And then once you kind of understand, you know, suck, squeeze, bang, blow, and you kind of get the general physics of an engine and that kind of stuff, then, you know, everything else is kind of the same or easy or a different variant of it.
Well, that's the thing is, I have, like, my issue is I can put the engine back together. That's fine. Put the timing in, good to go. My issue is like, how much do you know to shave off, to raise the compression, and then you have to the timing, and then the timing chain, and then removing a link, or is it too much, and is it too, like, that's where
those are the secrets, dog.
Dude. That's
the black magic.
Oh man,
the black magic, and that's the realm that I live in, dog. That's what I love. So like, that is, back in the old days, it was kind of common knowledge, you know, trial and error, and people figured it out. But it was also, you know, cars needed to be rebuilt, you know, 60s, 70s, muscle car area. You know, they needed to be rebuilt more often. There was more shops, more machine shops, more people doing it, and more people involved in it. And so you kind of just knew there was some kind of like rule of thumbs that were developed and things like that. But then nowadays, some of that stuff is kind of going away because of this whole evolution of computers and ECUs and forced induction. Everyone has gone away from like the expert motor building. Like the, you know, we have CNC porting now, but back in the day, everyone used to do it by hand.
Right.
Everyone used to have, like with engravers, and that's how I still do it traditionally. And then they would have to go and measure the volume of the combustion chamber and stuff, and put a piece, epoxy a piece of glass down with a hole drilled in it and fill it, measure how much water it took to fill up that chamber
to get in there.
And then you'd be like, oh,
dude,
fuck,
that's
this one's
that's old school.
yeah, and you're like, oh, this one's like, a couple grams more. You're like, shit, I got to go hog some more out of this one. And then you just, and let me tell you something, fucking hours. That shit takes fucking hours. You 100-hour porting job, easy. Easy.
Now, see,
because it leads down a rabbit hole of like, okay, this needs to be gasket matched, okay, and then this needs to happen, and then this needs to happen, and then might as well do this, might as well lap the valves while I'm here and the heads are off, and it's just like, oh shit, man, it goes down a rabbit hole. But what I've learned is, if you want to build something right, you have to consider the aspects of everything. Like I was talking to you yesterday, like a lot of people can do cheap things. Like any Joe Schmo can go and shave 30 thousandths off of a head and raise the compression a little bit more, but then he's just going to end up blowing it up. It's kind of like the same with like the whole YouTuber craze now too. Yeah. Like people are trying. They're wanting to try such extreme things, but they don't want to put the actual research and time into it. And so then they just go and blow them up. But then it turns out that, people love watching shit blow up more than they like it working. And then these people get popular off of just shit blowing up. And I'm like, God damn it, why didn't I do that earlier? Like, why didn't I record this shit? You know how much shit I've blown up in my life? I mean,
oh my God,
it's terrible. But anyway, I've rebuilt a rotary, I actually met a rotary guru. He's a guy that does hill climb racing at Pikes Peak. And he does naturally aspirated 10,000 RPM rotaries and stuff with crazy downforce and all this stuff. And his shop is just plates of rotary engines. He probably had a whole pallet rack, 2 floors of a pallet rack, just irons and aluminums. That's insane. He probably had 30 to 50 engines just sitting on a rack, and they're all 13 Bs. So it's like, man. Now actually Mazda, shout out, if this ever gets big enough where the big 3 or any of the big car companies ever see this, please support your old shit that was fun. Like Mazda still makes rotary engines. Yeah. You can buy brand new rotary engines. Like, fucking great job, Mazda. I mean, you're killing it. That's just amazing. Keep the rotary alive. I mean, for sure. I mean,
eventually it's going to go away.
No, it doesn't need to.
I'm just saying eventually.
And then,
like the R6 is gone. Yeah. Gone, which is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, isn't it?
No, I honestly, I feel like lawn darting it sometime off a bridge. Dude, I love the R6 is it's the reason why they didn't change it is because it was worked. Done right. Exactly. Yeah. And it won everything.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. And now obviously they have the track version, but the most street guys won't get to experience that now because that's done. So yeah, I don't know, it's weird.
So hey, here's where I got nervous though. So the engine building isn't that bad. Once you kind of understand the general everything about it and what has to happen for an engine to run, and then you level up and even do a rotary. If you do a rotary, then you've kind of expounded on what you can do. Yeah. And then you kind of go into then I went into the kind of sport bikes and stuff like 600s and 1000s and stuff like that, and seeing their kind of design over like kind of a pure race driven design over more of like a utility design. Right. Because it's really funny how a lot of guys they're always trying to soup up stuff it's not made to do that. You're always trying to soup up utility motors or this or that or but when you actually see something that was like bred and designed for power, and
like
racing,
a Yamaha that you've never owned.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah, you're the worst.
I'll have one eventually, it'll be fine. But transmissions, those were, dude, that was some black magic stuff. And, I've actually ate my way through a couple. I've done turbo 400s. I've done E4ODs, which were Ford heavy duty transmissions. I've done Allisons now. I've done a C4. I've done a couple other ones, and transmissions, that was a big, I felt like once I mastered transmissions, I was like, okay, I think I got something going on here. You know, I think I can actually do something with these skills that I got.
Yeah, I would love to like undercut a transmission on an R6 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like just to see, because what I worry about is false neutrals. And I think, you know, racers worry about false neutrals. There's got to be a way to minimize that. And I mean, there is. It's undercutting the transmission. But you know what I'm saying? It would be nice to figure out, like, what to do to make it just slide in there, like, you know.
Like
and obviously,
butter.
Exactly. And, you know,
and you want to know something funny? They've made, I don't know why that they didn't keep this technology on, but they've made transmissions that do that. Like, for example, the Kawasaki KDX, shitty enduro bike, underpowered, had a amazing transmission. Okay, you use the clutch to start, no clutch after that. You bang gears. It had a.
Was it like it's sort of like an automatic?
No, it's completely manual, but it had a spring assist on the inside that was kind of like a dog clutch. And so when you banged gears, even if you did it lightly, the spring inside slammed to the next gear. So you weren't rubbing and wearing stuff out. It was always just slamming gears for you. And man, I was like, man, how do I get this into my motocross bike? Because, you know, in a motocross bike, I'm always missing gears, and because you got so much shit going on. You're always, you know, if you can really get into a rhythm, then you don't miss gears. But when you're out of sync, which motocross riders will know what I'm talking about, when just, you know, shit's not going your way. You've got people all around you.
Even road racers will know what you're talking about.
You're not in your rhythm of jumps. You're not, and nothing's going your way. You got mud all in your eyes. You know, everything's just shit. You know,
your tires are sliding everywhere.
You're
on
just
the
like,
gas.
Man, I wish I could just bang gears. You know, and like instead of clutching and doing all this stuff. But
my God, man.
But yeah, so it went into that, and then I've also done some outboard motor stuff. You know, I'm an outdoorsman, duck hunter, and there was this whole thing about, you know, first one to the hole gets to hunt it. And so, you know, you want that best hole, which is like, for people who don't understand, it's a clearing in the woods that has standing water that the ducks come in and land on, and that you can shoot them and stuff like that. So naturally, it's so weird how these niche groups take off. Like, you guys listen to this podcast, there's a whole group of dudes that race 14, 15-foot boats like it's like their life career. Like, they just love it, man. These guys are
everything
in it. But it's such a weird thing, and the motors aren't supposed to do that at all. They're just utility fishing motors, but they ramp up the compression, ramp up all this stuff, do all this machine work to just go, you know, 3 miles an hour faster. But some of these things, once you get up into what you know what you're doing, some of this shit is scary. Like, there's guys out there doing 50, 60, 70 miles an hour on 14, 15, 16-foot boats, hauling ass, man. And they actually do professional racing in Australia it's called dinghy racing. But dinghy racing is also done here. It's just done to get to the you know, hole for the ducks first. It's not a sanctioned race. It's all wild shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, I've got a bunch of buddies that are invested in all this stuff, and we wanted hopped up motors, and I'm the mechanic guy, so they were like, "Here, Carter, here's some money, here's the motor, you know, see what you can do." And dude, I went down the rabbit hole, dog. I was balancing crankshafts on static balancers in my garage, like, doing equations for how much weight to reduce and all this stuff and to take off. And it was just, I had a little engineering marvel over COVID of getting into that black magic stuff that you're talking about. And it was super fun.
The lockdown just being like,
yeah, that's exactly it. Just me in my garage with just, you know, some classic rock.
The $6 million man.
Yeah. You know? Just, one day I'll be something. One day I'll fucking be something.
God, dude.
But no, that shit, honestly, I just love being in the shop. There's just nothing better than being in the shop. Piddling on shit, working on shit, even if it's something small.
I like it when it's not pressure. Like, I hate having to pay bills, and it's such a nightmare.
Yes.
Oh. But, dude, it is nice just to come back here, fix a customer's bike, and then piddle on your stuff and be like, oh, man, this is working, and test it and ride it, and, oh, man, it's the best.
Yeah, it really is.
So.
And then just I think what keeps me going is that, you know, that little thing of making improvements, you know.
Yes.
Like where when I was younger, it was so hard to make improvements because of money, because of skills, because of all this. But now I have all those skills, so I know exactly what to do. You know, I mean, like you come to me, like I can make you an engine that will do everything that you want on your constraints list, but it might only last an hour. It'll do everything that you want, but it's going to be a purebred. You know what? You know what? Let's get into this.
I'm going to give you a 20-minute motor.
No. Let's get into the stages. Okay. So the stages.
Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 7, Stage 19.
This is taking off in the automotive world and the diesel world.
I know. I mean, we're going to be here all night.
Dude, it is a fucking joke. There is no stages. Stages are only defined by the people who make the products.
Yeah.
What is real?
Hey, this is my Stage 1 Flash.
Yeah. Oh God. What's real is like
Such
flow
a joke.
rate and horsepower and timing increases and this and that, and there's real data that you should educate people on and not just try and sell a Stage 2.
And that's the
Stage
problem
3.
is most people don't know this. Is like there's
they
a
get
lot of
suckered in,
like
for
the Grom
sure.
people. Like we'll talk about the Grom stuff. Like
yeah.
you know, people come out with they're like, oh, this is our Stage 2. We just came out with this, or this is our Stage 3. The problem is that is just to make more money. There's no,
For sure.
not one reason.
Yeah.
Like they may have, you know, the thing is they may do one small thing that increases the horsepower, but you could have done that with just sell the right equipment.
Yeah.
And then get your customers going instead of trying to make multiple things.
Yep.
Hey, this is our Stage 2 kit. Let me get that to you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's the same as Stage 1, except maybe they did something just to increase the horsepower in the ECU when they should have done that in the
first
Stage 1.
stage. Yeah.
Well, no,
Which is-
they
yeah.
should have just done that. There's no stages.
Yes. And that's where it's like I consider if you want to go down the stage path, then I consider stages like when things are topped out. Okay. So like, let's say Stage 1 is we top out your ECU.
Yeah.
You know, like there you can put no more timing, you can put no more fuel, you can put no more stuff into it because then one of the mixes will get wrong and you'll blow it up.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
It'll either go lean or it'll
Yeah.
go this or to go that, you know. So you top out the ECU, okay? And then let's say Stage 2 would be then, okay, let's add a fuel pump, an injector, and an exhaust,
Yeah.
and an intake, okay? That can be Stage 2. But what you're talking about is the epitome of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's people that are like, only giving you about a quarter
Right,
for
exactly.
Stage 1 and
Yeah.
then charging you triple to do the same damn thing
Yeah.
to give you 10 extra horsepower.
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
Or like this is the big one in the Grom world is they didn't figure out the ECU tuning correctly. They'll be like, okay, this is our Stage 1 because it's basically it's they don't take away the one that they've already made.
Yeah.
They'll just move to the one because they figured out a little bit more and they'll
Yep.
call it a Stage 2.
Oh, my
Meanwhile, it's
gosh.
exactly the same.
Yes.
Like except for the little thing that they happen to find out now
yeah.
because they actually put the time and research in, and
Oh.
it's just it's
a
funny,
joke.
but dude, it is. It's just to make money. That's why we don't have Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 5,
No,
Stage
MotoBros
19.
will never have that.
I'll never have a
I'll
stage.
shoot this place up.
No, you know what we're gonna do? Well, what we do anyway. But what we'll do is like we'll make an advance, and then all you do if you previously purchased something from us, you send it back. We'll just make that advance and send it right back to you.
Or just do it in horsepower. That's the best way to do it. Okay. If you want, what horsepower increase do you want?
Oh, right.
Okay. Like if you want 5, we'll give you 5.
We'll give you
if
5.
you want 20, you know, like
No, I see what
do
you're
horsepower
saying. Yeah.
increases because
Just have a drop down. Be like, hey, do you want 1, 2, 7, 9, 12,
or something like that. But people have to know that you can't just click, okay, I want 20 more horsepower, and then go, oh, why is the price $4,000? Well, the price is $4,000 because you need a new piston, you need a new rod,
Yeah, like
you need
do
a
the
new
whole thing.
head, you need a new injector, you need an entire new motor to be able to make that extra 20 horsepower.
No.
You know, people got to
the
understand.
things that. So the problem is like with the younger generation, they don't know. So they see the stages, and the thing is like it comes from cars. Like where cars had the Stage 1 turbo, the Stage 2,
Yes.
that's where it came
Yes,
from.
yes.
Now, obviously, car guys, they're like, hey, let's do that with motorcycles. Instead of giving them the full on,
Oh, yeah.
let's give them the 20%, and then we'll you know, 2 months later we'll come up with a 30%, and then 4 months later we'll come up with a 90%, or they're trying to figure it out when it should just be, hey, this is the package, one and done.
Exactly.
But it doesn't work like that. And I mean, in the car world, I guess you could fight with that because there's so much more that goes into it. But dude,
the same as with like side by sides. Those guys are getting raped right now by the stages. Oh my gosh, the stages are. I mean, it's just. It's ridiculous. And I mean, side by sides. Here's what I don't get about side by sides. Why are you going to spend $40,000 on a side by side when I can go buy a Toyota Tacoma and supercharge it and put Curry axles on it and do all that stuff and still be under $30,000?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Remember now, that's their niche.
Yeah.
That's like us. That's what it is. You know, people want the side-by-side. They're like, man, that is the jam. I'm buying that. Let me soup it up.
Yeah.
And side-by-sides are popular as shit.
Oh, my God.
Like, oh, my God. You know what? Quit this shit.
Yeah.
Get into side-by-sides.
When you figure out how much they actually cost. Okay, so
dude,
we're
so expensive.
20 to 30 grand for a machine, used machine, okay? And then these people are dropping 5 to 10 grand in upgrades on these things.
Easy.
And
that's easy.
Oh, that's very.
Yeah,
I mean,
that exhaust is super expensive.
I honestly think that side by sides were just made for the aftermarket market because, like, it's like, okay, why do you sell a side by side where the cage isn't good enough for you to flip it and not kill yourself? Like, why do you have to go buy an aftermarket cage to put in it when it's already got a cage in it? Like, what the fuck?
Dude, it's protection, man.
No, it's the aftermarket sales. That's what it is on that shit,
Dude,
man.
Of course.
That people are.
Who's not going to make that? You got to have something stronger than what's provided.
God.
I mean, that just is what it is. And the other thing is like the slingshot. That is, the slingshots are super popular.
God,
like, I mean, I've seen, like in the, you know, let's say 5-6 years ago, slingshot, you'd see one and done, and you'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Now when we go to rides, there's like 15 of those dudes,
dude,
and they're dude. I'm talking about aftermarket rims.
They put fucking 22s on them motherfuckers,
yes,
dog.
Dude, those are like. Oh,
now here's the thing.
God.
Here's the thing. The funny thing about slingshots is there's two types of slingshot people. There's either it's got underglow. And it's rowdy. It's just loud.
Chromed to the world.
Yeah, it's just bright. The motherfucker's just bright.
Yeah.
Or it's some guy named Richard that likes to take his wife for evening rides around the canyon, you know? And it's just stock to the bone. And they've always got the XXXL saddlebags on it, you know, that can hold your fucking jug of milk from the grocery store or whatever the hell you go and get. You know, and it's just like... But I at least...
Sorry about that, Richard.
Yeah. I at least appreciate those guys, though, because, you know, even if you don't feel comfortable enough to ride a bike because people, you know, the safety issues and all that stuff, at least they're getting out and doing something.
Well, let me tell you something that an older customer told me the other day. So the reason why he switched over, because he rode sport bikes, the reason why he switched over, which we're all going to get to this point, is he was having a hard time moving the motorcycle and holding it up with his legs and stuff. So if you dropped it, it's done.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
So that's...
And bikes are only getting heavier.
Well, that's it. And it opened my eyes just to see that this is why... Because sometimes you're like, oh, man, the old dude's just riding that stuff. But it opened my eyes to see what is in the future for all of us, because eventually the bikes are going to be too heavy, or you can't move them around, or loading them up, or... No, it's not it. Now you just climb in, get in your car seat, or your Sidewinder seat, and out you go. No worries about anything.
And I want to squash something too as well. Is like, you know, the guys that hate on the automatic motorcycles. Just go ahead and fuck yourself real quick.
Oh man!
Because here's the thing. I have a dear friend that has ridden motorcycles his whole fucking life, and because he's ridden motorcycles his whole life, he's got arthritis real bad from the clutch. Because I mean, tell me how many heavy clutch bikes that you've rode in where you can't hardly ride them for an hour, and you're like, God, like your forearms burning and stuff, you know? Well, he just couldn't do it anymore. He had surgery on it. He spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to get his hand to work so that he could ride motorcycles. So to this day, he's 65 now. Yeah. Well, then KTM and some other bikes started coming out with automatic transmissions. And guess what? He's back on a bike. He went and bought a new one, and motherfucker's loving life. He goes to Crescent and track rides, and he does all sorts of things on his Duke.
I was gonna tell you,
like,
I rode an African Twin the other day.
That's a dream bike of mine.
Really?
Dude, an African twin.
Dude, I
is
rode
a
an
dream
African
bike.
twin, and I was like, is this, what the, and you just go and shift, and it shifts. I was like, this is automatic.
Do they make African twins that are manual, though? I want a manual
I
African
think
twin.
you can switch between both. You can have manual or...
No, I want a fucking foot peg manual with a clutch.
Dude, get out of here. Listen, we're just talking about automatic transmissions.
No. And that's fine for everybody else. But for me, I will have a manual until I can't have a manual anymore, you know?
Yeah, until you're like 92.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this hand works for... I mean, the problem is I've had my shoulders and I've had a bunch of crashes. I remember hitting my damn hand, like my hand went directly into the ground, and I was like, oh, man. And you know, you don't go see the doctor because eventually it goes away. But dude, I'm gonna be like this when I'm older. I'm gonna be like, hi guys, and we're gonna be sitting here talking. I'm gonna be like, dude, this is the greatest stuff ever.
No, this guy, I was super stoked to see that. I kind of hated on the automatics for a minute. I was like, man. But then,
I rode that Africa Twin, and it smooth as I was like, man, this is smooth as butter.
Yeah.
And just imagine not having to worry about the clutch, focusing on the ride. Oh man.
No. But I like it. I like it because I've got ADD, so the clutch is just like on autopilot for me. It's like what takes the noise out of my brain so that I can concentrate on what I'm doing. I love like it's just that thing of, you know, I always know what gear I am. Like I'm in, you know, I know exactly what gear to be in these corners and what to do where, you know, that is all kind of on auto. You know, once you get so much experience on autopilot, that's just all autopilot. But it's good because it lets me, it gets all that shit off my mind, like work and all this other shit. Yeah. And then I can just focus on what's going on.
Yeah, you have one of those, what is that ride called where you're just like, I don't even know what it's called. Like the euphoria ride or whatever. I don't know what it's called.
It's like
great
just shit,
everything just... You know, work goes out the window, no bills, just
temperature's right,
oh,
you know,
man.
Traffic's not too bad. There's not some bitch cutting you off, you know, not looking for you.
Oh, well, that's every day. But yes, you're right. Like if you can get out there and not have to deal with that shit, that is a bonus. Oh my God.
So the reason I'm so interested in the Africa Twin is I have a KTM 640 enduro bike. So it's an Australian So the guy that I know that has that KTM, he's the one that sold me this bike. And he's been to Isle of Le Mans. He's been like everywhere. He's been to Dakar. He's got buddies that race in the trucks in Dakar and stuff. And my bike was a pre-running bike for his buddies that did Dakar. Before they would go and take all the trucks out to pre-ride, they would do them on bikes. Yeah. And so this bike, the guy had it like meticulously serviced by KTM dudes only because he was a part of this KTM team and stuff. So like, dude, I've got, they replaced, there was like a little like, there was kind of like a service recall where like, hey, these bearings in the crankshaft might go out. This, you know, KTM probs. These bearings in the crankshaft might go out, or they might. I mean, we've got some that have 40,000 miles on them that people haven't had any problems out of, but we've also got some that have 500 miles on them that are exploding. So this guy went and paid the like freaking $2,400 to have the ball bearings replaced to roller bearings on the crankshaft. And like, dude was meticulous. Like all of the suspension was set up for his exact weight and the fluid and all. I mean, the guy was intense. So I bought this bike with 1,000 miles on it, meticulously kept. And I was like, he had all the he had a whole extra set of plastics. He had a whole extra set of exhaust. He had like everything,
dude,
bro.
That's when you know you're getting a great deal, is when everything is in line.
The guy wanted it to see it go to a good home, you know. And he like,
after years of meticulously maintaining it, for sure.
And I kind of, you know, we sat down, had a beer, and talked about, you know, history, kind of like we're doing now and shit. And then, you know, the level of detail that I do on working on stuff in my bikes and that kind of stuff, and then like the quality of stuff that you do here at MotoBros. And so, you know, he immediately was like, "You'll be the buyer for the bike. Now we just got to work on a price." And I was like, "No problem, dude." So yeah, so we worked it out.
No problem.
But we've kept up and stuff. But I've also got a bunch of buddies in Arkansas that all have DRs. You know, shout out to all the DR boys. You're slow as shit. Who wants a 650 that's got 32 horsepower? What a joke. That's why I like. As a motocross guy, you know, all of my buddies, they're like, let's go do these rallies, let's go do these trips and have a bunch of fun and go explore, you know, Missouri and Arkansas and all this stuff. And they're like, get a DR. I'm like, I ain't getting no fucking DR. Like, guys, like, I know that the 400s are quite a bit better, and a lot of dudes do like the Supermoto on the 400s, and they are liquid cooled, so it makes sense. Like with the physics that it's got to be a little bit hotter of a bike, a little more compression and stuff, because you know it's water cooled instead of the 650 air cooled and stuff. So I like that the 400's a little bit better. So I'm not hating on the 400 guys, but the 650 DRs, what a snooze fest. They're like 350 pounds or more, 380 pounds, and they're 32 horsepower. My KTM is like 285 or like dry, and then I dynoed it at 60 horsepower. I put a big jet kit in it. It's got 170 jets.
Stage 3.
Oh, stage 69 actually. It's the old Carter stage 69 kit.
Damn.
But I did a bunch of work to it, and the thing is a ripper. And it's so funny to go and ride with I go into these rallies and stuff. The DRs are kind of limited to, like, you know, I would say the easier trails. Like, I could take my 640, where the 250 guys and 450 guys went. Because there's like, when you go to rallies, there's like kind of two kinds of people. There's like your GS riders, which that's like a whole nother topic to talk about. They think they're adventure riders, but they just go on gravel roads, you know.
No, I got that.
GS guys.
That's a whole
other. And then there's the guys that like trailer in bikes, and they're just motocross bikes, but they have a little bit softer springs in them and stuff, and then they just ride in the outdoors with them. And either of them is fine. But when I go to rallies and stuff, I want to go get in the shit. I want to see waterfalls. I want to be jumping logs. I want to be doing all sorts of shit. I ain't trying to just ride down gravel roads, but you know, not everyone's like me. I
went to one of those, like, where it's an actual, like, what is that called? Like you call it a rally, but what is it? It's called
like an adventure race,
like an adventure.
Yeah.
And dude, just watching, like, going up the damn side of the mountain and how they have to struggle to get the rear tire to work, to push the front tire up, and then sometimes they're off the bike pushing it up.
Oh yeah,
dude, I was like, man, that is ridiculous how much fun that probably is, but it also probably sucks balls because you're
trees are hard as fuck.
Oh.
Dude, they might be all cute and cuddly, but them motherfuckers,
they might have some beautiful leaves, but once you hit one of those things, oh my god,
dude, I've wrapped bikes and myself around
training
so
on
many times.
It's like training on not a road bike.
Like a actual like e-bike or like a
what am I talking about?
Mountain bike?
A mountain bike. God, look at that! I'm losing my mind.
Oh my god! I gotta tell you.
Dude,
okay,
if you
hold
hit
on,
a tree,
hold on.
Oh my god!
I gotta tell you this story. Okay, so this is everyone will enjoy. If you watch a MotoBros podcast, you'll enjoy this story. Okay, so I had this fucking guy. Okay, you know, Arkansas is kind of split in two. You either have kind of like your rednecks, or you're just Southern people. Not everyone's a redneck, but they're just Southern good people. Or you've got hipsters, okay? Because this whole, like, Bentonville, where they have Walmart, and they made the whole city a mountain bike friendly city, so you can literally take trails to your office
everywhere
and all that stuff. And then they've really brought that down into Central Arkansas, and they've been putting a lot of funds into this stuff. But these fucking e-bike riders are some cocky sumbitches, okay? I had this guy. I was out mountain biking with my family. I grew up mountain biking. My parents used to do, like, adventure races with mountain biking. So it's just like a thing that we did. So we were there for the holidays, and we went out. And I met this fucking guy that, you know, traveled to Arkansas. I think he was from Oregon or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And man, he was talking this e-bike up like you normal mountain bike riders just wouldn't understand, like, the tunnel vision. Like, we go so fast that, like, you have to adapt. You've got to ride these things all the time to develop, the cognitive ability to be able to ride this fucking e-bike. And I'm sitting there just wanting to just tear this fucker's face off. Like, bro, I used to ride motorcycles at like 65 miles an hour through the woods. Don't fucking come at me with this whole goddamn e-bike bullshit. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, okay, now, I do say that with some preface. This was not one of the like, okay, I've now learned there's kind of like 2 stages of e-bikes. There's like the kind that are like the pedal assisted
stages.
And then there's like the ones that basically do it all for you. They're basically electric motorcycles.
Dude, I rode one.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? I was like, no wonder people can, like, if you don't know it's an e-bike and this fucking 80-year-old dude comes and blows by you,
you're like, what
you're
the
like,
hell?
what the fuck is going on? Like, the first time I was like, what the hell? Why can't I keep up with this guy?
Oh.
And then next thing I know, I'm pulling around and the dude's chilling, but he's still flying at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah,
and I'm
he's
like, dude, whatever, man.
Yeah. So this guy,
go home.
So I've ridden one of the like electric motorcycle types, and they rip. Like, you could basically do a standing wheelie on them. Like, they've got a pretty good amount of power and stuff. So those ones rip, and I do believe that you could get some of that like enduro hair scramble kind of feelings. You know, you could get up there to that a little bit the lower level of that speed. You know, with a lot less destruction and harm to your body and stuff like that. But this guy was a pedal assisted guy, so he can fuck right off. You know, he was trying to give us the business about how cool he was, and then finally I looked at him and I was like, yeah, I used to do like motocross and hair scrambles and all that stuff, so your e-bike shit is cute. And then I closed the door and started the truck. I was like, this guy, go blow smoke up someone else's ass, you motherfucker. So if you're out there, okay, e-bike guys, check yourself before us real bike riders come and wreck yourself. You know?
My God.
Get the fuck out of here.
Where is this going?
I don't know, but that guy, I can't get that guy. Think about him all the time, just like you cocky piece of shit. Doing 20 miles an hour through the woods, just thinking you're high. Like,
no, listen.
You must have had a Cliff Bar and a Bang
happened.
Energy drink before you met me, or something. He must have had the best ride of his life, or something.
It has definitely happened. And I mean, there's lots of people that even on the racetrack, you have the guys that are. I mean, and you. So the problem is people don't really realize.
Okay, keep talking. I'm gonna grab a water.
Okay. Well, no, let's take a little break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's take a break.
We'll take a quick
give
break.
us a break. Let's get some more waters and stuff.
Yeah, no, the Can-Am Spiders. I was
okay. We're back.
Yeah,
I had to have a little snack and a water break because this turned into like.
Yeah. Well, so he told me that you guys want longer videos, and I was like, well, fuck, all you got to do is invite me on the podcast because I never shut the hell up. Never. It's like. If you're like this, then you know what I'm talking about. People just have basically told me to shut the fuck up since I was a kid. You know, your mom, your dad, your grandparents.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone, all their friends, everyone's just like, you talk too much, you know. You need to shut up. Just like, whatever, you know.
I like it. Dude, but going on that...
cheers, bud.
Yeah, dude, there we go.
Having
a
cheers.
good water.
Hell yeah.
Going on the guy, like the e-bike guy that's trying to impress this. Yeah. Even in the motorcycle world, especially at like track days and not so much racers because, if you're fast, you're fast. Mm-hmm. But like track days, riders are like, oh yeah, you've got to do this and this and this is how I got faster and dude, I had one guy.
I love those guys. The guys that just only want to help people. Those are the fucking best.
Well, I'm talking about but it's when it's like the e-bike rider where they're trying to.
There's also the opposite.
Right, it's the shitty kind.
Yeah.
But I had a dude. I made this video. One of the guys sent a video in of his crash on a track.
Oh yeah.
And I just made a short little video of saying, hey, he was offline and blah blah blah. And then some dude that was got on there and was like, dude, I'm a level 3 rider and that's not what happened and blah blah blah.
He's a stage 3 rider.
Dude, it's just amazing to see the way some people think, because you just don't know sometimes,
Yeah,
like,
no, for sure. And I will tell you this.
We're not always right.
No, and I encourage everyone to go and at least try to race or do something. If you have the means and it's something that you've thought about for a long time,
go to a track day.
You're going to go and suck. Because my first motocross race was the biggest embarrassment of my life. And I'm sure everyone who's ever raced their first race is an embarrassment.
Dude, I can't remember mine.
Oh, dude.
I don't remember, but I know I was like, I was in the top 10, but there was probably only 10 people there.
Yeah. That's how I was. I was 9th out of 9.
I made the top 10.
No, I just remember, the the pre-jitters. It was like sports.
God.
It was just like sports, like before a football game or before a basketball game or whatever. You know, you get that intense nervousness. And then what kind of helped calm me was I built the bike. So I knew that the bike would run good and all that stuff. But then the thing is like your first race, you keep up with everybody for about the first half of a lap. And your confidence goes way up. If you could graph someone's first race, the first half a lap is just like, man, I am the tits. Yeah. I've never raced before. I'm keeping up with these guys.
These guys, yep.
This is easy.
Yeah.
And then after your first lap, you're like, I might as well just go ahead and get off the track now. You know, I'm just going to get lapped and I'm a nuisance. But you've got to hang your head and you've got to finish fucking 6 laps or whatever the hell it is. And look like a dumbass, and everyone just says, "Ha ha, you're an idiot," you know. Yeah. But you got to do it because that's how you get better. You meet people, and you realize what you're doing wrong, and that competition of that elevation of those guys being so much faster, it drags you up so much quicker.
Yeah. You know, you have to. Like the thing that's sad is, you know, I know everybody that rides track days and stuff wants to get faster, but you'll never be unless you're somebody that
Michael Schumacher.
No, like a track day person. Unless you're somebody that has real skill and you're just not using it in the race world, you'll have that.
I thought you meant like a unicorn.
Oh no.
Okay.
I'm saying a unicorn. That is a unicorn on a track, just a track day rider.
Okay.
If you're one of those guys that has the skill but has never raced, cool. That's like I've never seen one yet. So if that makes any sense,
I might be one because I've never road raced before.
I'm just saying I've never seen one yet. But if you're that one-off guy that is like, okay, cool, I've got it.
I'll pop your cherry on that.
Yeah,
Try me, bitch.
What happens is it's going to be your first race.
Oh God,
FYI.
I know. I just don't want to spill the bike. You know, that's my only fear. And guess what? My first race, I wrecked. First race.
Oh, really?
It was a little one. I was a big banked turn, and I was like, you know, I normally have been taking the inside line. Fuck it. Let's take that. I'm last place. Let's start taking some outside lines, you know? Just try it. See what happens. Right next to the finish line where everyone's standing. I take this outside line, overspin the back end, dump it right there. Just like not even like a wreck where people are like, oh, it's just like, that kid's got an extra, you know? He's got something
an
wrong
extra
with him.
chromosome.
Yeah. I was going to say that, but you know, whatever.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah, the racing thing. But I will tell you this, though. Even at, you know, whatever age it is you are now or what we are now, you can still get that feeling of like after a football game, after when you were a kid playing sports, by racing. Just going out there and participating, man, you feel like a bad bitch afterwards, man. You love it. You're like, I'm so in tune with my bike. I'm so in tune with this. Even though I suck, I'm just having so much fun. And everyone around you, their eyes are just like sausages, you know, and everyone's just pumped and amped. And then there's those dickheads that try to wreck you. There's those fucking guys.
Yeah, the ones that...
And we haven't talked about that.
Race through you, not with you.
Yeah, and that's a whole... But dude, I don't think... here's the thing. I don't think I could do that justice because I've watched the whole... there's a whole YouTube series basically about ex-motocross riders. And they go through, you know, all these... The Carmichaels and all this shit. And they talk... And one of the points that they talk about is that brutality in motocross, and that is something that you've got your kids where, like, you know, their daddy's got a lot of money, they feel entitled to be there, you know, they practice all the time. You broke bitch
when your dad pays. Like the sad thing is there's many experienced riders out there that never get the chance, but when you have a dad, like, you can make mistakes. You can go and you can blow $15,000 and your dad's like, don't worry about it, let's just do that.
My dad never even came to one of my races. My dad's never been to one of my races.
My dad died. Are we going who's worse?
Fuck your life.
Fuck it.
Yeah, no, that was those kids, and it's like they're like, oh, you shouldn't be as fast as me because you have no money and you built your own bike and you don't have the practice.
Oh, dude,
you shouldn't be faster than me.
You know? I know a couple people, like, the dad pays for everything and there's no...
And they come up next to you and kick you and shit, and they're always cutting you off, and they're just dickheads.
I would love... You know what? What sucks is I would love to have that money.
I know. Me too. You know, one time
Everything
in my life, just have that.
Just
like,
let me have that.
I want the fucking trailer.
I
don't
want
want
the
to
fuck you
show up.
money. I want the fuck you money.
I don't want to show up to a race with a lawn trailer anymore. You know, I want an enclosed trailer with toolboxes and shit like that.
hand-built trailer. I don't want any of that. I want the one where you pull up and the thing like
everything's
one of the
color
mobile
matched.
mobile homes and it's like
a toter home,
dude, whatever.
My
Oh
gosh.
god,
Next level shit right there.
Well, listen, we're just gonna keep going. So let's let's just
We need to
call
wrap
it.
it up.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you inviting me.
No,
you know, I
dude.
knew it was going to be a lot of fun. If you want to, I'm Carter Andrews. If you want to hear more about, you know, the past or the future or anything in between,
dude, we're gonna have
know.
we're gonna have multiple people that will be on
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
I mean, everybody has multiple
but
experiences.
if you like me, put in the comments, you know, what more of the stories that I've told would you like? You know, because I brushed over some engine stuff, transmission stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that was about 0.5% of what I actually have done.
The
you
other
know?
day was
So,
like, we could have just kept going.
Yeah.
and going
So,
and
you know,
going.
comment down on what you want to hear and he'll
And
have me back.
yeah,
and stuff.
remember, if you're local and you want to come share your experience, come up here and just let us know. Just contact us on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, whatever you guys. Just say, hey, can I tell my story? Come here, sit. We'll chat it up. You can come have some drinks and some food and stuff. So.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's it, man. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for Carter for coming in and chilling.
Peace, dogs.
All right, we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.